And welcome back, everybody. Here we are. This is part of part of the continuing journey from Washington State on to Anchorage, Alaska. And I do realize that the original promise is that the entire trip would be done in a amphibious aircraft, so we could at least do one water landing or a water takeoff per individual flight. As you can see, it's a little cold out here, and I don't trust the physics simulation of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 to simulate water that may or may not be frozen over, have ice in it, or what have you. So the reason we're utilizing the flattest PC24 is because, well, I got a very nice comment from a person who used to fly B-52s for the U.S. Air Force, and thank you very much for your service. And a lot of people don't utilize the PC24 on YouTube with regard to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 because the engine start issue. So anyway, this is not only a very Merry Christmas video, this is also a thank you to all of our servicemen and women here or abroad serving that can't be with their families during the holidays here. So here we go. We're going to hop in the jet. As we usually do with these videos, we get really technical with regard to what we fly, because this is usually reserved for our patrons. And the Patreon account, if you're going to be interested, I'll leave a link in it below. But yeah, these videos are more complex than what you would usually see. Now, this aircraft has a couple of big problems that Asobo or Microsoft or maybe Coronado, one of the three are all together. They simply have yet to fix certain things that, well, they should have frankly fixed a long time ago. Beautiful view, isn't it? But anyway, the first major one is getting the engines to start, and the second one is because if we don't, then the battery will die pretty quickly. And hooking up a GPU, I haven't done it because it's got to think of it. I just don't trust it. Something tells me that if the battery would still drain pretty quickly. So, as for my first video I did on this airplane with regard to the engine start, the work around, if you will. So it's going to integrate a really cool flight from Juneau, Alaska on up to Yakutat, Alaska. And this aircraft is perfect for it because we can fly into known icing conditions. So let's get the workaround up and going here for the PC24. And then we can begin entering the flight plan, which shouldn't take long at all, and we'll be up in the air in maybe 10 to 12 minutes. Because what we do in these videos, as I said, we go in depth. We do go through the checklists and things like that, and go over our departure briefing and treat it like a real flight. And the other reason we're utilizing the airplane, this aircraft, short takeoff landing. Pretty simple. So anyway, we're going to turn around batteries 1 and 2. Show you a couple monitors to boot up. Push oxygen in to activate that. And we got to get both engines really up and running. So strobe beacon, for some odd reason, that is already on.
Pause system test. Okay.
Thank you. And we also want to turn on the nav and logo light. It's getting dark out there. hopefully we'll be able to get up into the air sooner. Get those on. That auto. So we don't miss out on the beautiful sunset on the snow-covered mountains. Alright, let's do our workaround for the engine start. And that is step 1, is turning off generator 2 and leaving it off. So we're not going to turn it on. We're just going to go select this to run. And remember, we can dry motor it. That would bring up the quiet mode, which would be like an APU in a way. But this does not simulate the that quiet mode. So we gotta do it this way. So we're gonna start engine the right engine first. Just go over my notes to make sure I've got my own workaround set up here. I believe I do. Yes, I do. So make sure your generator 2 switch is off, and then standard procedure is just simply setting this to run. I'll do it again. Run and then start. See if that something is wrong with the in-sim camera. Looks like a good light off, but I don't hear the engine at all. There we go. It's pulling it. I can see it obviously starting on the iCast here, but I couldn't see it starting on the, I can hear it. Alright, now that engine is stabilized. Yes, it is stable. Now, the next trick, we're going to start the left engine. Again, no generators yet. We gotta do left engine, so we run the engine selector to run. Start. And that should give us hopefully a light off. There goes N2. There's the light off right there. It's looking like it's gonna work. I think it'll work. Crossing our fingers, right? Waiting for the start. The start light to go out. There we go. Grab the meter real quick. 2998, okay. Alrighty, now, believe it or not, this is the nice little trick, if you will. We're gonna go in the following sequence. We had to turn on now the right generator and our generator number 2. Turn that right generator to the on position. And then also now turn on the left generator. Now, make sure the engines are stable. They're not going to quit. It looks like they're stable, and we get the 2 additional screens along with our cursor control down here, down below. All right. Now we can say, Dad, here we come. So, we need to do a couple of basic housekeeping items, and then we'll simply plug in the flight plan. That is something that that has now been asked for in regard to documentation. So, not only have I given documentation, or to go get documentation on this aircraft for simulator purposes only with Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm simply going to walk through everything, and if it helps you, I hope it does. Alright, let's look at our METAR 2998 on the altimeter, so let's go and get that set up real quick. Very good. And what we're going to do here is dial in. It automatically brings up your origin. Let me zoom in for those of you watching on a mobile device. It automatically puts the origin in. All we need now is a destination. So the way this can work, you can do it one of two ways. Click in that box, come down here, and this turns into a virtual keyboard. You can do it that way, or don't know why that happened. It should not have happened. I believe it everything just auto dimmed for a low light flight. I hope that's the reason. So everything is stable. Okay. Anyway, destination for that is Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha. So Papa Alpha Yankee Alpha, and then you hit enter, and there it is. Alright, insert that. Now, the wind is 1703, so remember, since the wind is less than 10 knots, that means that the wind is known as variable. Variable winds means we can utilize either runway, there's a runway we're going to use here, and I'll show you in a second. We can use this as one runway, well, two runways. It has a water runway, but as I said, we're not going to mess with that. Would like to, but that's the way it goes. So, we're going to utilize 26, and we are going to use the SID, the S42, and we're going to insert that. Very good. We're going to go ahead and activate that. Very good. Now, the next thing that trips people up, yours truly included, is actually input a arrival, and believe it or not, this small town Yakutat actually has an arrival, a star. Standard terminal arrival. I'm shocked that it does. But the friends over at SimBrief say that there is one, and just looking at that flight plan, that it did not keep. Alrighty, bear with me for just a moment here, everyone. I apologize. SimBrief got rid of the flight plan. Okay, give me just a second here to bring it up. How nice of them. I've been a customer for a very long time. Alright. The Yak 3 arrival. Alright. The fake entry point. Okay, so you click on the destination right here. And now we're going to do departure arrival. As you can see, whenever you click on an airport, it gives you this pop-up, right? Now, we're going to click on departure arrival, just like we did for Juno. And that's our star. We're going to use runway 11, ILS 11, and with the Lamar transition coming into that. And the I3 insert everything. This is the part where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a discontinuity, and that's what we want to get rid of. Delete that. Activate. Now, does everything look good? There is a trend that, with this it being such a short flight, the exit point or transition from this SID, standard instrument departure, the exit point or transition, butts up to the entry point or transition of the arrival, which is pretty cool and unique. So we just want to make sure that everything looks good there, which it does. Oh, there's a discontinuity there that we don't want, and we'll have to get rid of yak as well, but we'll do that en route. We'll delete this, absolutely get rid of it, because more than likely what we'll do is fly from Vispo directly to Lamar. And they'll say miss approach after runway 11. Very, very good. Very good. Alright, now let's go into the next category, and this screws out to 20,000. Okay, we'll take that. Fly level 200. Yeah, that'll work. We'll take it. Okay, 5,000 passengers. We have one in the back. And remember, once you enter, it wants to know the average passenger weight. Since this is the winter time, you want to add. Some airlines do 20, some do 30. I'm going to add, especially this being Alaska, I'm going to add 35 pounds to that passenger. You may say, that's a weird thing to do. Well, in the wintertime we have more clothing, more gear if you're up here fishing or doing a late season hunt, which I don't think hunting is up and going here, but let's double check the fuel that we've got here. We've got how much fuel? We've got 2,931. 2,931. Now, do I like running both engines while I do this? No, I don't. But if I don't, I'll just say we've got 300 pounds of cargo. If I don't run both engines, one of them will die on us. Guaranteed. Alright, that looks good for now. Compute all that. Computing the data. And we've got it. Now, you see how the aircraft looks like it's on the ground, that little green speck there. Alright, gonna take off. So since takeoff, that is correct. PAJN, that's where we are. Papa Alpha, Juliet, November, runway 26. Runway SID, yep, we're doing the ACE-42 departure. 95, 96, 15. I did calculate the V-speed for this aircraft, and let's just say that the speeds were a bit different. So what you have to do is go into sim brief, go into performance and tools. I'll do a more in-depth tutorial on just sim brief in just a little bit. Been a little busy, that's why I have not done a video lately, because we have a puppy. For those of you that have puppies, they demand a lot of attention. So anyway, Yeah, V1 needs to be 122, rotate at 131. So that's what we're going to do. So V1 is 122. Rotate, what did I say? 131. And rotate, our V2 speed is 135, aka our safety speed. Okay. And our V2 speed is, hang on a second here. Sim brief isn't going to give us that. I believe in this aircraft is, just want to make sure it's cleaned up. We'll just do with this type of temperature, we'll do 160, we'll do 160 even. That'll be fine. Transition altitude, 18,000 feet. Hopefully that's what it wanted. And when I say that, I meant, hopefully it didn't want flight level 180. It wanted all 3 zeros, and it did work. With this, again, with this aircraft, you never know. So now that the V-speed are plugged in, properly calculated, the ones that were in there already would not have worked because the temperature outside and our weight. So we hit the send button, and now you can see our V-speeds are over here in the on the speed tape over here on the PFD. And by the way, that reminds me, I need to adjust the barrel on the backup PFD. It's a little dim. Sorry about that, but I don't know how to make it any brighter than that. Cannot see it. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna be, let's see here. Those are our initial gonna be, is going to be, let's see here. A net like that. I believe we settled on 20,000. Not mistaken. Give me one. I just want to verify that real quick. The only reason why I want to double check with this aircraft is because sometimes the climb rate is not look here real quick. For some reason, SimBrief is not keeping my information. It keeps deleting everything. Everything. 2,000, yep. My profile 20,000. Yep, 20,000 feet. And I've never flown it when it's, I've never flown the PC-24 when it's this cold out. So, this ought to be quite the adventure to see how the aircraft handles. Minus 13C, yeah, that's a bit nippy. Don't know about you. Anyway, back to this here. Let's see, flight planning on just a sec. Okay, it's a flight ID number, so nope, we don't need to do that. This is just more of, no, we don't need that. And we're going to dial that up to flight level 200. And we're going to really test the VNAV function to see how well it keeps and maintains an altitude with this type of weather. We'll see if it makes any difference. If it doesn't, that means that Sim Update 4 did absolutely nothing with this aircraft, even though a lot of things need to be done. Okay, we can arm the throttle once we get out there. This is another area they had to fix. We should be able to hit that button on the left side to disconnect the auto throttle, but we'll have to do it a different way when we get to that point. Alright, staff trim, and then we're going to go through the checklist here. And look at that, isn't that nice? Both engines die just like that. Gotta love it. Isn't that nice? You get everything set up, and all I do is I move the staff trim, and it shuts the engines off. How nice is that? Alright, well, luckily, we know the workaround for starting this aircraft. Leave those two switches where they are. You gotta love it. Gen 1, Gen 2 off. And those go blank. Come back up here. Go to run. Leave Gen 2 off. And start it. There's a light off. I was hoping that would be a light off. Yeah, it, how wonderful. So you move the trim just a little bit for takeoff, and it shoots both engines out. Unbelievable. Isn't that nice? Unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. Here's what we're going to do, because we put way too much effort for you watching. So what we're going to do a little bit of magic editing. We're going to transition to the same jet, but it'll be up and running when we come back. In other words, don't go anywhere, because through the magic of editing, it'll seem like, hey, we're right back where we started. So let's do that and get both engines up and running with that flight plan and get out of here before something else decides to quit. Hopefully if it does quit, we only hope it quits on the ground before we go anywhere. So stay tuned, as we'll be back for you. We'll be back within just, well, maybe 3 seconds. And as you can see, here we are, back to where we started. For all of you, we simply said, stand by for 3 seconds. Well, on our end, had to redo everything. And here we are. We got takeoff trim set. The engines did not die on us this time for only setting our takeoff trim. And, yeah. So anyway, a very, very buggy airplane with regard to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And I wanted to make one brief correction before we go any farther, and that is I made a mistake. I said that VT speed, which as you can see, it's up here now on the PFT on the speed tape. VT speed, when I said, it's there to make sure that you're cleaned up, meaning gear up, flaps up. I am right, but I wanted to give you the actual Pilatus view of it. VT actually does stand for takeoff target speed, which is sometimes referred to as your final takeoff speed. It's simply your clean speed, if you will, clean in quotation marks, air quotes, if you will, the clean speed for the final segment of the climb. So you may say, what does that even mean? Well, the goal of it, if you will, is so that the target speed that you accelerate toward after you have your trajectory, your flaps and landing gear. And what they want you to do is take your V2 speed, which in this case is 135, and add 60 knots to it. So 135 plus 60. 135 plus 60 equals 195. So that's all done. Transponder, real quick. I mean, we'll do. Why it starts out as 7000? Don't know. Yeah, see, that's just not. We want to be squawking because we're going to be going above 18,000, 18,000 or above. If we were on advanced sim, we would do 2200. Yeah, well, nowadays they send you a transponder code automatically to your vPilot interface. But since we're not flying on VATSIM, we'll just do 2200 and pretend that we're flying in the older version of VATSIM's capabilities. Alright, like I said, we do a realistic checklist on these things. Why the cabin temperature isn't warming up? Both engines are running, everything's up and ready to rock and roll. Don't know what to tell you on that one. Should be warming up. I do know that the cabin altitude pressure, let me rephrase, pressurization system that affects your cabin altitude does not work properly in the PC-24. They didn't fix that either in the latest update, Sim Update 4. So if it yells at us in flight, we're going to have to pretend that we don't require oxygen, unfortunately. It's just something that they haven't fixed. Same thing with the King Air C90 GTX. That also has the same problem, even though it utilizes a different avionics suite altogether. So we'll go through the checklist. Now we'd go through it normally, but remember the engine start system, it just simply doesn't work. Let's go ahead and turn. Maybe this will work once we get the bleeds going. Is that gonna work now? With regard to our cabins, see, that's just a cabin rate. Hopefully that gets us warmed up with the bleed. It didn't use, before this, I could be very wrong. Before Sim Update 4, this did not matter. I could have this in any setting, left, right, off, both, and it still wouldn't do anything. But it looks like it's warming up in the cabin, which is nice. Flying around in the 8 below, that's simply insane. Alright, parking brakes, battery switches are on, FMS, yep, we got that. Fuel, yeah, signs are on, ready for engine start, checklist complete. Starting the engines, well, we had to work around, didn't we? Because it doesn't work the way in which they describe it here. Flaps, generators are good, trims are set, and the engine did not die when I set them. What I did is I utilized the keyboard interface instead of my yoke. Now it's getting way too hot in here. Too warm for my blood. There we go. Avionics are set, doors are closed and locked. Yep, and they want you to start the right engine and then go through a bunch of you're gonna kill the batteries very quickly if you go by this checklist. That is why the individual who posted a comment very recently, who used to be a B-52 pilot, asking me questions about this aircraft in the simulator here. I do utilize the in-sim checklist, but there are certain things that you have to go around, and hopefully that's what you're getting out of it. Brakes, we'll be testing on the way out. Cast light, see, that shouldn't happen. Lights, they will be as required. Checklist is complete. And we're down to the after takeoff checklist. Flaps are at 8. And wing line, and we'll turn those on. And taxi lights, we got those up and running. Everybody else is good. Everybody else is good. Dial temps back a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. Now it's really warm, really fast. Alright. Let's see, what kind of room do we have to get out of here? We're gonna have to get out of here. Okay, hang on, sharp left. If the aircraft will allow us to do so. I have not, as you can tell, I have not flown this airplane since Sim Update 4. Hopefully it works. Let's check it out. Hopefully that virtual ramp agent got out of the way of the wing. If we run into any icing conditions, it'll be very interesting as to how this aircraft reacts to it. They obviously touched something in it, touched the aircraft with regard to fixing something in Sim Update 4, because again the pressurization system never worked before when you select the bleeds to auto, and now it does work. And saying we're testing at 30 knots, not even close. I've taxied enough airplanes in my life to know that the speed we're going at right now is 17 or 18 knots at the most. Anyway, beautiful view. Check that out. Beautiful view. And now it looks like we're going past and we're not. Beautiful view. My gosh. Alright, we get everybody checked out. Checklist is complete. Unit traffic, Polaris 364, Papa Charlie, depart runway 26, straight out departure, Gino traffic. Oh, sorry, we're not on VATSIM. We had to call out, or the real world, and to call out a checklist. And to call out our ATC, that is. Alright, here we are. Let's make sure everything looks good. Everything. Before we do this, sync up the heading bug. Nav is armed. Flight director is on. Nav is armed. Everything else is going to be, well, let's just see how it works. That's all we can do. Let's just see how it works. Just one last thing. Flaps up, that's in. Alright. Let's see what this thing can do. Maybe they did fix a couple things up. Well, let's find out. Second, so no takeoff. Okay, well, they didn't fix that, obviously. All the way forward. update. Well, they didn't fix the rudder. The airplane was going right when the rudder pedal, the left rudder pedal was going to the left. They did not fix that one bit. They Alright. Flight level range, we'll leave it at that speed. Yacht amp. Autopilot. Flaps up. Well, it's working better than I thought that it would. Way better. Alright, climb out of that. Go to vertical speed here. And we can do 2,000. 2,000 a minute. Although I was wanting to do a lot more than that. Let's see what it does. Let's just see what the latest update did. It wants to move. No doubt about that. 3,700 per minute. Let's go to 4,000. See the view. Look at that view. Can't beat that. Alright. Ground proximity. Not that close to the mountains. That's another quirk. And we're climbing at 4,000 a minute, which is more than a loaded Alaska Airlines 737 would be doing, going out of Juneau, going down to Seattle, Portland, or up to Anchorage. Yeah, as you can see, terrain is not an issue. We are many thousands of feet above any kind of terrain. So why the ground proximity warning system is up, I have no idea. Okay, reaching 18,000. We can go ahead and turn off the all the landing lights were not turned on. My apologies on that. Parking brake, what a wonderful bug that still exists. Leveling off at auto throttle, and we'll set this to 151 knots. I'd love to know where I got that from. Let's see what it does at 280. let's see how accurate it keeps it at 280. If the engines go back and forth, like they used to, or if they actually fix it. And I do know that 285 is our overspeed. I just want to see how it lands right at 280 knots indicated. Gotta go to the spin around the barometer. Manually dial this one down to 2992 on the backup over here. See this? You cannot just right click for the standard barometric pressure setting. You have to manually dial it to 2992. Yeah, ground proximity, that doesn't make any sense. No sense. Anyway. Looking good. One thing, and then we'll hop outside and get aircraft. The aircraft is pressurized. Let's go through our after takeoff checklist now. Yep, that's all. Got anchors on. Ramps up. MCP is set. And landing taxi lights. Checklist is complete. They give us a landing light check before takeoff. It says lights as required. Okay. That does say landing lights on the after takeoff. Yeah, I would have obviously done that. Yeah, that been on the before takeoff checklist, but it wasn't. That's not my fault. I'll take responsibility for that. The landing lights always on for takeoff and landing. And in this case, also below 10,000. Let's see, it's keeping 280 knots, keeping that very good. Maintaining 20,000, and the engines are not going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like it used to. And it's working so well, but it still burns an awful lot of gas. 1 hour is remaining. Let's see, our total distance to go is 172. Let's make an executive decision here real quick. Oh, for those of you that do want to know, how do you expand the map? Right now it's at 40 nautical miles on the radii here. You have to take your mouse. If you can see the little tiny hand, I hope you do. There's a little funny looking semicircle left of the 40 on the big radii here surrounding the airplane. You hold your mouse button on that and you drag it up, and then that expands it. I know it took me I figured that out by accident one time. So there's the whole flight right there. Let's just, because the fuel burn is so unrealistic. Yeah, let's go up to 20. Let's do a flight of 28,000. Let's just do that. One thing we're going to do, we're going to see what's our fuel burn right now per side, total really. Basically 1,000 pounds an hour per side, 2,000 total. Let's see what it's like at 28,000. Let's go there. Let's VS it out at let's see what it does at 2,000 a minute. They're moving, meaning the throttles are moving. What's our fuel rate? Fuel burn right now. Climb 3,300. Okay. Getting out there as quickly as possible. Acting like it can do it. Let's slow it down just a little bit to help the fuel. Let's do 270. And let's add 1,000 feet to climb. Let's just see what it does here. Alright. 230. Good. I'm almost to the point. We'll see what it's like once we get up and land in Yakutat. Almost to the point where I'm saying I would be comfortable in flying this thing online on the Vanston. For those of you that are into that. The most annoying thing at the moment is that ground proximity warning system. Warning on the PFD here. That's I don't get it. Transponder mode. Standby. No. PR. Okay, good. Alright, let's go ahead and drop that nose down to 2,000 a minute. That's the one thing about this avionics suite, unlike Boeing, which is what I know intimately, it doesn't give us an easy way of just saying, hey, what will the fuel burn be and how much fuel will be left at destination if we were to go to XYZ's cruise altitude, in this case 28,000. It gives you that, the calculation before you even make the decision. Alright, leveling on to 28. Should be burning significantly less fuel. The difference from 20,000 to 28,000 is a big one. Settle down at 2.7s are indicated. I know, usually I use Mach, so it's low with most people. But I just want to see what it does. Number by number per number, meaning 268, 269, 270. Fuel burn, are we better on the fuel? No, we're not. Not really. Look here. Let's see here. 1 hour and 3 minutes on the gas. And all the way to the destination, we're looking at 18 minutes, 20 minutes. Well, there is there is one particular patron on our Patreon account who loves Alaska and loves the scenery of Alaska, so we owe it to them to do to do some outdoor camera camera shooting, if you will. So let's do that for just a little bit. Then we'll come back in and get the aircraft ready for descent into. Do one thing real quick, and that is look at the star going into Gagtat. What you don't want is to have an overflight of a VOR, which is what this looks like right there. We want to go point by point. We don't want to overfly, and then that just wouldn't work. What we might just do to make your life easy, go directly to the entry point on the ILS for runway 101, and that is at, starts with 2 L's. Runway 101, that's not it. SoCo is not it. It's right after, it's supposed to be directly after fakes. I know I put it in there. Give me one moment to look that up. Come on. How do you look that up? See, this is the one reason why people, many of you want to pull your hair out whenever you see this avionics suite, and I don't blame you. It's just not that bad. It's so different from what's in Boeing aircraft, what's in aircraft that have Garmin. I mean, Goodnight Garmin. That is so bulletproof. I mean, it just works. Intuitive. It's very intuitive. Dial this down just a little bit. Like I said, we will probably end up making this real easy, going to Lamar, which is the entry point for the ILS, runway 101. Yeah. 102, 105, 170. Do I like those numbers? Anyway, let's look outside for a little bit. view. I wish we could, I do wish we could stay out there longer, but we gotta, we have a machine to operate here. I guess, here comes our top of this end. Here in just a little bit. A distance 92 nautical miles. Estimated fuel remain 1,300. And we got 1,009, so roughly burning another 600 pounds of it. Seems a little bit excessive because we took off half in both wings. So it's obvious that they did not fix the fuel burn rate. If they didn't fix it on this aircraft, that means they didn't fix it in the King Airs or the citations. When I say King Airs, I mean the C90 GTX, the King Air 350i, the citation, the longitude, I think that burn rate is fairly accurate. It's the other citation. What is that? The citation, citation 3, whatever the other citation is that comes with this, the fuel burn rate, I don't believe is accurate in that aircraft either. And like I said, it's very obvious that it is nowhere near accurate here because, I mean, our takeoff weight was unbelievably light. I mean, one passenger, half a tank of gas on both wings. I mean, it doesn't get any lighter than that. I mean, that's extremely light. Speaking of which, I wonder if they did anything to the interior, into the cabin. Probably not. Don't have time to go back and look. Let's begin our descent now. Let's hit. I believe we need to hit. It doesn't give me the entry point for runway 11. That's very disturbing. This is what I selected already, and it did not do that. Now that's technically right on the money. Lamar. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of that altogether. Yeah, that's just going to overfly the airport. And no, that is not part of the arrival. We'll check that. I don't think it is. Do the 400 and we don't have 400 and we need to get down there now. Alright. we'll end up going out to Lamar, and because what happens is if you look up ILS 11, what it gives us is a arc that we have to fly. So you can fly with fixed and then just do an about face. It's a lot easier that way. This is a very, very good ILS for those of you wanting to get into instrument flying. This is a great one to do because it doesn't give you a weird, just a simple fly at this point and then, begin to turn left, right, and then swing around, and then it lines you up with the outer marker. Nope, this gives you, from this angle, coming from the south, if you look over here, you'll see what I'm talking about. It gives you a very nice arc to fly, and we'll be going direct there, and as soon as we hit ISPO, then we'll go direct to Lamar. There's an arc, as you can see, that goes from Lamar to Hedgehill. Let's see if I can zoom in more. Nope, that's all it does. Let's go down. A steep descent from that. Put the speed brakes all the way up. I'll keep it slow, and we're going to slow it up to 200 knots. Let's keep it like 20-ish. That's a good number. And what we'll do, let's see here, show info on that. Okay, that's fine. Alright, direct Lamar right now. Activate that. Flying direct Lamar. Okay, checklist. Altimeter, yeah, we're coming up on that. Let's go ahead and do lights. But let's do the, excuse me. Let's do, let's just slow it up to turn on the speed here. It does slow it up pretty quick. Let me get the speed break down. Alright, let's look up flight aware. Yeah, I know you can do it via the avionics here, but something on flight aware, I simply trust it. And we've got 2987. Bizarre. 2987. Put that on both. Boy, that display, the backup display, boy, that is so dim. Anyway. Alright, that's on. Fast running landing gear, not yet, but will be. Speed brake armed for shutdown. Okay, that's one. That is one heck of a checklist, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Interesting that they actually publish this airplane with so many squawks on it. It's almost acting like it doesn't need the speed brake on. Yeah, I guess it does. No? Not all of it, at least. Interesting. We're well below 250 for under 10,000. Double check that. Good. That's for the one passenger in the bank. I'll leave on auto. Everybody looks good. And we go to the recall lights. Now we don't need a pulse, but just leave them on. 10,000 feet. Here we are. And there is the airport. Right there. Right where it needs to be, too. That's a joke. Look at that. No snow. Really? None? It's been below 0 on the centigrade scale for many, many, many days and weeks. But maybe the ocean keeps it warm enough where it hasn't snowed yet. I find it hard to believe, but what do I know? Alright, don't answer that, by the way. Looking good, looking good. We should be there. We can shallow it up a bit. Let's do 2,000 a minute. Oops. Take this all the way in. Go bang through that one more time. The landing checklist here: speed brake armed. It's supposed to be not, no. Doesn't want to move in the way you want it to. There. Leave it right there. And that is officially armed. Alright, let's bring that map in and zoom it in down to like 20. And a little less than 18. That'll work. 200 knots for now, that's fine with me. Picking up the glide slope already. The signal for the glide slope, that is. 102, 105, 170. I do not have. Let me look up something. VRF and VGA. Alright. I just briefly looked it up, and our VRF speed, VRF, along with yeah, alright. Our VGA, that is, for those of you that want to know, VGA, I know it's you don't hear that often. VGA, that's our go-around speed. 170, I'm sorry, 105. I'm sorry, that just seems awfully slow for a go-around. but any online material that you look up, it will say that it is calculating that number correctly. So it's one of those things of, well, what do you do, what don't you do? We'll send it over to the PFD just for the heck of it. What did I say our temp is? Minus 11. Spin that up. Oh, now is it Fahrenheit? Okay, I have to quickly do the calculation on that one then. That'll be 12 on the Fahrenheit scale. That's interesting. Why do you have to enter both? For those of you that program this, I would like to know that. As would a lot of other people, I would imagine. Peak up, we're not going to get... Let me look at one thing here. I mean, I've used it once before. It's like a... I mean, for those of you wanting to know what it stands for temperature compensation, which is something that they use in the Honeywell premise Epic. Well, I know which. By the way, for those of you wondering what the actual name is, the avionics we hear is the Honeywell premise Epic suite. Let me look at it because you only use it when it's really cold out. Let me run a calculation here. Well, we can do that. We can do that. I mean, it's gonna be cold. Compute, activate that, and what that does, it adjusts our altitude and speed. Why that landing gear toggle keeps popping setup. I mean, yeah, we're well below it, but I mean, what it is, it's barometric altitude, and which is already, well, I'll do it this way. ISA, which is International Atmosphere, it's denser. The air is more dense and more compressed, like colder air. I'm sorry, let me reverse my sentence. When it's very cold, the air is very, very dense. So is it affecting us? Yeah, but I mean, this aircraft doesn't really follow the physics of everything all that well. So let's slow it up to 160. Flaps A, please. I'll get us down there, and we can pick up 1009-ish. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So one little thing that is really, really frustrating is it wants to go to Mach instead of indicated without me touching it. How far out are we on the approach? Getting a little slow, but on purpose. Alright, let's bump it up then. You don't need to be going nearly this slow. A little busy looking at the T-count. Simply because I've never flown this aircraft in this cold of weather, and I was simply wondering. Let's turn on the approach. Should switch over to that. Very good. Now we're flying the localizer, and the glide slope is armed. Very good. As soon as that glide slope begins to come down, then I'll slow it down to 140, and then so on and so forth. For an airport like this, and yes, if I was on Vatson, I'd be giving our present position and what we're doing, all that. Let's look at the actual outside real quick. Hopefully the localizer is going to remain nice and right down the middle of the runway. It's like some runways on the sim whereby you come in on localizer but you're nowhere near the center line, and that can be a real frustration. Okay, as it configured, we're going to pick up that glide slope any second now. So 140 flaps. Let's see here. Next notch flaps here. And gear down, please. Turn off the parking brake. You'd think that they would want to fix that little bug in the software. Full flaps. What I don't like is that it's adding a ton of nose up trim. There we go, now it's adjusting. Alright, let's go for 120. Let's see how that does for us. Flying the glide and so that's 110. And remember, you do not have reverse thrust, so as soon as you get on the ground, you gotta stay on the brakes. If you're doing a short takeoff or landing, in this case a short landing, you're not getting the best view out of it as I'd like. That's better. I like looking, sitting higher in the seat, so to speak. Wind. I mean, the wind here is not even, surprisingly, not even noticeable. Wind is out of 090 at. It's a breeze. 090 at 4. Last I light hasn't changed. Nope, still 0904. Disconnecting out and autopilot here in just a sec. Never asked me to dial in a minimum, which I thought is bizarre. minimums are right there. Continue. Alright, my airplane. And my throttles here.
Terrain ahead, pull up. Terrain ahead, pull up. Terrain ahead, pull up.
No, there isn't any terrain ahead. Good grief. Alright.
100. Stall.
We're nowhere near stall.
Stall.
No, we're
Stall.
not. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That is not a stall. That's ridiculous. And yep, I'm doing full rudder and it isn't doing anything. Isn't that neat? How nice is that? Stall warning. Yeah, we're nowhere near stall. Good grief. Well, everybody, apologies, but as they say, there's an old saying, I just drive the bus. Yeah, they got a lot to work on with this airplane. So no wonder nobody covers it on YouTube. Hardly at all. There is a reason for that. Anyway, you're welcome to Yakutat, Alaska. If you're interested in the flights that we've done leading up to this, they're all very short flights, no more than 1 hour in length, and you can see them through the various videos that are on the channel here. I think it goes all the way back to July. It's when the very first one took place. And yes, if we were on fast, we might be announcing that we're doing a back taxi on runway 11 back to the FBO. Okay, here, the checklist is not ready for shutdown, but we're not ready to do that yet. We got a ways to go on the taxi here, and we're going to turn on our pulse lights, see if they work. If they work. In an uncontrolled airport, I don't know about you, but I would definitely use taxiing back. There is something called bear and moose, and yeah, I've been to Alaska more than once. And if you go into the Kenai Peninsula, like Kisilov, Saltana, Nanelchik, yeah, you can see those very large animals. And when I was up there last, which was many years ago, they said that they use pulse lights, if they have them on their landing lights, to keep the bears and moose at bay. Something about flashing lights, they don't like them. Alright, I don't see a pull off here, do you? Taxiway. Oh, there's one. Here we go. Let's see, it must be the FBO there on the left. Okay, we don't need those lights on anymore. I don't need the strobes either. Alright, where do we go here? I'm gonna assume that vehicle is for us. It's just a guess. I'm assuming that that vehicle is for us. That's our van to the hotel. I don't see any designated parking spots anywhere. Do you? I don't. Okay, next to a big hangar, maintenance hangar. Yeah, probably that. Alright. Let's do it. Yes. What's it want us to do? Okay, we'll just shut down right here. Okay, this is where we do want to set the parking brakes. Let's turn on the dome lights so we can see what we're doing. Alright. Parking brake is speed brakes. Let's move that to the... No. There we go. You gotta move the mouse in the opposite direction that you want the lever to go in. Yeah, I know, very annoying. Well, the staff trim. We landed with that much negative trim, and that's ridiculous. You want to shut down your trims at 000. It's nice for the next person that flies it. Okay. That's a joke, by the way. I set to 0 just because something in me says to do it. Because this is a simulator made for education, but it's also made more to just have fun. Landing taxi lights off. Taxi lights are off. Wing lights are off as well. Turn off. Yeah, both. Well, if we do, then we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose this screen if I turn those engines off. See, that's the thing. You gotta work around things. Passenger signs and oxygen are coming off. Okay, I'll do that right now. Passenger signs. We'll leave no smoking on. Well, I guess we'll turn them both on. Oxygen, that's over here. Pull that out. Turns off the oxygen system. And the pressurization system, as you can see, yeah, I guess it worked alright. Generating the batteries. Okay, good. Alright, there we go. Alright, well there you have it, everybody. Welcome to Yakdat. Turn the generators off. And beacons are off. We leave the nav logo lights on for now. Oops. And everybody cools off. So let's get out of here. Let's turn the transponder standby. And everybody else is off. Flight director goes off. Let's see, bleed off. Oh, it only goes. You can't go left off. You gotta go to batch both. So it only turns off if you go clockwise. IPS auto cabin descent. That's it. Didn't touch any of that. Again, this stall warning on landing, that was not even close to being realistic. I don't know what that was all about. Alright, let's get out of here. Like I said, they've got a lot of things to fix. Oh, if you're wondering what these are for, that's in case you want to utilize the lavatory. That's for another video. It's very interesting the way Pilatus design the onboard facilities, if you will. Alright. Here we are. Welcome to Yak It Out. Interesting, I did not close the door behind me, but it closed on its own. Alright, well there we go everybody. Sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. Big thank you, shout out to the individual that posted a comment. It was a former B-52 navigator and pilot. Hope this flight sheds a little bit of light on how this aircraft functions, how certain things, and you're gonna, being a former B-52 guy, you're gonna figure out, you'll garner more things out of it than I'm gonna imagine. But if you do like it, I can do a longer flight. Top out the fuel tanks, of course. Do a longer flight and dive into the systems a little more, showing how to look at the weather, for example, just by a couple of clicks on the navigation display. But yeah, here we sit, and yeah, again, welcome, and Merry Christmas, everybody. And try to squeeze in another video before the new year. And anyway, everybody have a wonderful Christmas. Blessings. And hopefully you're spending it with family and friends, someone that cares about you and loves you. We will see you all again very soon, and as always, stay safe, and fly safe, as always. Frequency change is approved. Have a good one.